financial system, one-of-a-kind financing, NetSuite by Oracle. Get control and visibility over your e-commerce, HR, and financials in one spot. netsuite.com/herd. So this is a story. Adam Schefter and Peter King now share the same sentiment. They have reached the same conclusion. So Peter King about a month ago talked about this very thing on his podcast, and now Adam Schefter publicly saying, in my opinion, I don't think we'll see Aaron Rodgers show up in Green Bay with 3 years left on the contract as it currently stands. There has to be, I think, some sort of stipulation that makes it clear the Packers will trade him after the season. Now, presumably, if you're a Packer fan, Green Bay would still have leverage. They would just say, okay, in a year we're trading him, make the offers. That's what David Letterman did when he left NBC. Make offers, networks. CBS made the best offer. So, and it was a big, long runway. Letterman had a long time. Make your offers. Sit here in my beach house, make the offers. So Green Bay would still have leverage, okay, as long as Aaron's healthy at the end of the year. And Aaron would see light at the end of the tunnel, would not be as bitter. Now, I think this is incredibly strange, and I think it would torpedo the season. So Tom Brady told Howard Stern, remember they did that big, long interview? He told him, I knew I was leaving. But that was a thought. That was just a thought. If you know you're leaving your company and keep it to yourself, it's not disruptive. But a stipulation is probably a contract. That's different. A thought and something on paper is different. First of all, it's official. It would be public. It would leak in 2 minutes. It would be discussed every week. I think it would essentially torpedo the season. And when you know you're leaving a place, and Brady said, I knew I was leaving. Remember how testy Tom got his last year in New England? First time I ever saw him, like yelling repeatedly, kind of at teammates. Like he'll yell occasionally, like, remember the Chicago game Thursday night with his team? But I mean, literally discouraged generally on more than one occasion with his teammates. He got testy. Like Tom knew he was leaving, and Tom was being very human. When you know you're out the door, there's a big difference between, it doesn't happen till it happens, right? There's not a team till there's a team. And so I think this would be so weird. Also, Aaron no longer trusts the Packer front office, so he'd want it on paper. He's not going to let it hang out there. Well, Green Bay tends to be pretty protective of the brand and a little rigid. So they may resent that they're forced to sign a deal, and Aaron doesn't trust them, so he would resent it if there isn't a deal. So this is a mess. And I've said before, I would flush this season down the toilet if they didn't play in the NFC North, where Detroit's awful, maybe the worst team in the league, certainly in a discussion. Chicago is going to be starting a rookie quarterback, so they're not a viable Super Bowl contender. Minnesota, I love their coach, and there's a lot of their roster I like. We don't think Kirk Cousins in big spots can measure up with Tom and Aaron and Russell and Patrick and Josh Allen. Even the Dak and I just don't think he's that guy. So it's a mess. So Peter King and Adam Schefter, incredibly well tied in guys, have reached the same conclusion. There's going to have to be a stipulation made, and I believe Aaron would want it in writing because he doesn't trust him. And I don't think a rigid franchise wants to put anything in writing and be told you have to do something. This is just not going to be a good year for the Packers.
It feels like the last year of the kids in high school, and you know you're getting a divorce after they get out of the house, and you're just trying to make it work until then.
That's a perfect way to put it. We're just trying to make it work for a year.
Yeah.
Does that sound like a Super Bowl team?
Like, just keep it together until they get to college, and then we'll break it to them when they're adults that this is over.
Green Bay and Aaron, just keep it together for a year, and then that's not a Super Bowl team.
I don't love it.
Spa-like comfort. Save big on your water bill. Go tankless with Navien. Tanklessmadesimple.com. Tanklessmadesimple.com. Get local rebates, too. There's a Tom Brady story out. There's an Urban Meyer story out. The big story this morning is Henry Abbott is reporting Dame will, in soon enough time.
This is the Herd Line News.
Well, hits keep coming for Team USA. Bradley Beal was placed in health and safety protocols this week and has now been ruled out for the Olympics. Jeremy Grant is also going through protocols, but Greg Popovich is optimistic he'll be able to return to the team. And then today, Kevin Love decided to withdraw from Team USA, so he will not be going to Tokyo.
Is that an injury too, Kevin Love?
Well, yes, he came to this decision because he's returning from the calf injury, and he doesn't feel like he's at peak performance yet.
All right, I get that.
So he will not be going. So they now have to replace Kevin Love and Bradley Beal.
John Morant.
I would love to see John Morant on Team USA. I think John Morant is probably in good shape as well, which seems to be a big issue for Team USA. Devin Booker, Drew Holiday, and Chris Middleton are obviously still playing in the finals, so they're not with the team yet. So they currently have 6 players: Bam, Kevin Durant, Draymond Green, Zach LaVine, Damian Lillard, and Jason Tatum. They also had to cancel their exhibition game against Australia tonight because of health and safety concerns. And Team Australia has a higher level of rules and protocols for COVID than Team USA has. So Team USA is in Vegas right now, but they're not under the, bubble-like scenario. They're allowed to have their family there because no families are traveling to Tokyo. They're allowed to move freely throughout the hotel.
Right.
I don't know everybody's vaccination status, but it's coming down to the wire for getting the team together, getting them conditioned and ready to play in Tokyo. And now they have 2 very important pieces out. Every piece is important, but it's Bradley Beal and Kevin Love out, and they now have to replace them, on top of not having Devin Booker, Drew Holiday, and Chris Middleton there with the team. So a lot going on for Team USA and a lot to figure out in the next couple of days. Woj tweeted that Spurs forward Keldon Johnson is gaining a lot of support because he plays as a member of the USA Select Group, and he's apparently well-conditioned. So everyone is pushing for him to join the team, but we'll see who they select to replace Kevin Love and Bradley Beal. So Urban Meyer is getting his first taste of coaching at the NFL level with the Jags, and he's still trying to navigate through all those changes from college football. And Jimmy Johnson, who made a very successful leap from college to the pros, said Urban is having a hard time adjusting, and there's one major difference between the two.
He's a little frustrated right now because he spent so little time with the players. He's accustomed to being around the players all the time, and they weren't able to do that because of COVID-19 and the situation.
COVID definitely played a significant role in this. They were fined recently for violating some of the off-season protocols.
Right.
Not related to COVID, but just contact rules, because you can't have players there. It's not the same as college.
Well, listen, this has been, Pete Carroll was a college guy. He went to the NFL, and he has been fined multiple times because of illegal practices. Yeah. Why? Because in college, Pete could control his environment. In the NFL, you can't. Jim Harbaugh, college guy, NFL. Why did he struggle in the NFL? He struggled with his GM, Trent Baalke, because he wanted players and Trent Baalke wouldn't give him control. Nick Saban couldn't get Drew Brees to pass his physical in Miami. He said, hell with this, I'm going to go to college. When you look at college guys who have had great success, it's the control thing.
Yeah.
And Harbaugh struggled with not controlling the personnel. Pete Carroll struggled with not having enough practices. He's been fined multiple times. Nick Saban struggled with the medical staff not giving him what he wanted, the okay for Drew Brees. So this is a very real thing, and I think you and I have said this before. We don't doubt that Urban can coach or knows personnel. That's not it. He's going to have – they had a very good draft. They're going to be fine in the drafting thing, and he's a super smart guy. It's a psychology. You can't control the players. You can't control practice. You don't have an AD you can run over. You're going to have multiple players over time making more than you, and these are grown men. So this is the struggle that we kind of predicted.
Well – yeah, because in college, you can have practices that aren't mandatory, but you better be there. They're not mandatory. The NCAA has regulations on that too, but you're going to be there in college. If it's non-mandatory practices or camps in the pros, you don't have to go and you're not going. And these are professionals, so they can argue Coach, I ain't going to be there, but I'm going to be working out all week. I'm just not. I'm on vacation with my family. It's off season. I'm chilling here with my kids. I'm going to work out here. The team trainer has sent me the workout. I'm doing that here with my trainer. I'll see you at training camp.
Yeah.
There's nothing he can do, and you can't even get mad because he's going to get mad. I'm going to be in better shape than whatever practice you're going to put me through.
That's right.
So it's a whole difference. What it is, it's